skulls is that crystal skulls are absolutely real. I mean, they exist. It's when they were made and how they were made is the question.
Indeed.
But you do have these ones in Tibet and India. Now, there's a strong connection, really, between ancient India and Tibet and Mexico and the Americas. Many archaeologists, of course, don't think that. They are isolationists. They believe that ancient civilizations are all isolated from each other.
Right.
There's not some transoceanic traffic. But I show in my book on Mystery of the Olmecs that a lot of what was going on in ancient Mexico was a trans-Pacific trade that was coming, in fact, from ancient India and Southeast Asia across the Pacific. They were using Tonga, Easter Island, Tahiti, and then landing in Mexico, also in Peru. And it's quite possible that ultimately the whole crystal skull mania that's popularly associated with Mexico ultimately is coming from ancient India and Tibet and the Himalayas. How about that?
Right. Well, that's very interesting, and again, that supports the idea, and I'm all in favor for that general idea of a global seafaring people that basically was around the planet at that time. I just want to squeeze in here, David, and ask you about your comment on this. That if we return and talk about the kind of occult aspect to this, if you will. The subtitle, of course, of your book is Astonishing Portals to Man's Past, and that's an interesting use of a word there, because if we talk about portals or even transport, quartz crystal, of course, is obviously a medium for communication, because if we just think back of the first radio receivers, we had quartz crystal in those. So it's obvious.
That's right, and there's the crystal radio sets you can use where you don't even need batteries and things.
That's right.
But you need a quartz crystal. Quartz crystals are very high tech. I mean, they were known in ancient times. Ancient people did use quartz crystals, and even just a normal crystal, one that's not carved, was often part of a shaman's bag of tricks, the medicine man. If you go to many museums in the Americas, in South America, in Mexico, even in the United States, they will show you quartz crystals as part of what they find. Magic mushrooms are part of this too.
Indeed.
Jade artifacts, the quetzal feathers. These people also use boomerangs and other kind of unusual weapons and things like that.
Yeah.
So you start to see a trace there. But crystals are really important. You can, like a CD or a DVD, you can store information in them.
There we go.
And then use lasers and things like that. It's one of the things they say about crystal skulls and any crystal object is that over time it will take on certain energies and vibrations of the people around it. And like a DVD or something, it stores information, and that information can later be accessed by other people if they do it right.
Well, exactly, and that opens up the can of worms, so to speak. And I guess we don't have time to go into all of that in this segment here, because we need to begin to round things off. But just to squeeze this in here, that this could potentially, and I've heard this before, that the crystal skulls, or some of them, then actually contain information about this previous civilization, and they actually stored in the skulls information about how they lived, where their civilization were, etc., and even potentially how it was, destroyed, or what happened during the end period of their era, so to speak. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sure, exactly like that. I mean, the idea of halls of records, of some kind of Atlantean library of information. This could, and it would make sense, that this information would be stored inside crystals, inside a crystal skull, inside a crystal ball, even just inside a very large, good quartz crystal. If you look at the Superman comic books and movies, part of the mythology there is that Superman has this fortress of solitude up in the Arctic, where this is his secret, inside a mountain base or something like that. And for him, when he's there in his Fortress of Solitude, to access information from his home planet, he puts these giant quartz crystals into like a little base receptacle. And when he does that, because the information is stored in these quartz crystals, then suddenly, you know, he's accessing this giant encyclopedia from his home planet. And that makes total sense. You could do that. And in fact, I mean, you know, storing things inside a quartz crystal is much better than storing them inside some little plastic CD or DVD that can easily be broken or scratched or something.
They wear down eventually, but these things, they last through time, you know?
That's right. I mean, quartz crystals are so hard. They're nearly indestructible, but they can be destroyed because quartz can shatter, and it's very brittle. If you took your crystal skull and threw it hard against the wall, you could break it, although it's almost impossible to scratch them, or you know, if you take out your pocket knife and try and scratch your crystal skull, you can't really do it.
Yeah. David, to begin to round things up here for our first segment, for those who are interested in getting a copy of your new book that you've co-authored together with Stephen Mehler, is it available yet? When it's going to be out?
You know, it should be out in mid-May, and it's up on our web pages now at adventuresunlimitedpress.com. You can order a copy. And it will be in bookstores in Europe and America probably by June, I would think. And we did push quite hard to get this book out in time for the movie because we realized that the subject of crystal skulls will be quite popular this summer.
That's right. The website again is adventuresunlimitedpress.com, and also check out David's other website, wexclub.com. That's wexclub.com. Also want to squeeze in here in this segment, upcoming conference, of course. With David, he will be attending the Beyond Knowledge Conference in Liverpool, England. That's the 3rd and 4th of May. So if you're interested in hearing David speak, or some of the other researchers there, like Michael Tessarion, Marcus Allen, Jerry E. Smith, Ken Thomas, Ralph Ellis, Ian Crane, or David Griffin, you need to pop on over to their website for much more information about tickets, time, and so on. The website is beyond-knowledge.co.uk. Again, that's beyond-knowledge.co.uk. And as I said, David's going to be there. So, what are you going to talk about on that conference, David?
You know, I will be giving my sort of standard presentation that will be about ancient technology, Atlantis. I take people on a roller coaster ride around the world to unusual sites. We'll even talk about the crystal skulls while I'm there. It'll be fun. I hope that some of your listeners will attend.
Yeah, definitely. And do you know which one of the 2 days you'll be speaking on?
Yeah, I think I'm there on Saturday afternoon, the first day.
The 3rd, yeah, okay, yeah. And myself and Frigg is going to be there also, not to do a talk or anything like that, but definitely meet up with some of the researchers and listen to their fascinating talks. So that's going to be definitely a lot of fun. But we'll do like this, that we're going to take a short break right here and continue talking with David in our member section and get into a little bit more about the Easter Island, megalithic structures, and lost cities from around the world. So stay with us, David, and we'll be right back after